Hi, and welcome to the Daily Windups Daily Briefing. Um, let's focus on Isaac today. Isaac has been moving toward the west overnight, and none of the other models show this except for the ECMWF. And the National Hurricane Center didn't think much of that model. They still take it into the New Orleans area. However, this is something we're going to have to monitor for southeast Texas and western Louisiana, as this has already made quite a westward jog. And here is the cone of uncertainty, and it takes it in at hurricane strength straight into New Orleans and the central Louisiana coast. Now, the ECMWF has been very ahead of its time, and I would not be surprised by 10 a.m. if they shifted it westward. This seems to be the trend now. Here's a closer view of the floater. And you can see this westward movement very clearly. The National Hurricane Center says it's only temporary, which it very well could be only temporary. However, moving this far westward, it's already moving the models westward, and I'll show you the models here in a minute. And they're old models. They haven't initialized with the new area yet. Here is the latest radar image. I believe this is out of Mobile. And you could actually see the center of the storm down here where I drew this L. The western Louisiana coast is already getting lashed with rain and wind and all the stuff that comes with tropical cyclones. And here are the spaghetti consensus models. You can see the initialization was way far south. These are old models. These are even back to 18Z from yesterday. The new model should be coming out within the next 3 to 4 hours. And they're gonna have to be initialized. I'd say around 27 north to 88 west, somewhere around in there. And it's much further west than what this is showing. Here is the size estimate for Tropical Storm Isaac. Still a tropical storm, initial at 60 knots. We backed way far off the intensity because we're now only 24 hours out from landfall, if it remains on its current track to hit central Louisiana. And it brings it to a 72 knot hurricane, a low-end hurricane. After that time, obviously the winds start cooling down and they start slowing, and because they're over land. Now this is what I really wanted to show here. This is the ECMWF for Wednesday. You can see the cyclone is making landfall here in central Louisiana. It actually shows this trough lifting out like the GFS did yesterday. And the ECMWF has taken much more of a westward turn. And it's really the only model to do so, but it's concerning for the folks in southeast Texas and western Louisiana. Here is the European for Friday, and as you can see, this has slowed down a whole lot. And you can see on the 500 millibar heights here on the top left-hand side, it's all the way into southeast Texas and western Louisiana. And this is good and bad, because if it stays over water, folks that weren't expecting to get this could get some strong wind. On the flip side, people inland could get a lot of rain that is much needed, a lot of needed rain. And once again, the European is the only model to show this. But this trend is concerning because the European has been so far ahead of its time on this track since the beginning. Now here is the GFS for 24 hours out. And you can see on this run, this trough is much deeper, more amplified, and it is showing Isaac being steered more northward. Eventually in this model, the trough lifts out and Isaac still moves northwestward, much further northwestward than the European. But I'm curious to see what the 06Z and the 12Z GFS show, because if we have more of a westward track, the models are going to have to shift westward. I still anticipate that central Louisiana will get the bulk of this. It's still a Louisiana storm. And here we have the GFS for 72 hours out for Friday. And remember, on Friday, the European was way down here in southeast Texas and central Louisiana. The GFS is way up here in Arkansas and northern Texas. So either way it goes, a lot of people are going to get a lot of rain. This is still a Louisiana storm, so I hope people... the time for preparation is just about over. People need to start thinking about being hunkered down. And this storm isn't going to be as strong as we initially anticipated it as. But it still could be a hurricane at landfall. Storm surge will still be a big factor. Heavy rain is definitely going to be a big factor. So listen to your emergency managers. Do as they say. That's all I have for now. For the Daily Windup, I'm Donald Flowers.